Wisconsin from the Big Ten, 38-14. Look ahead to what happens during a bye week at this level. We'll ask Wallace and Andre about that. And of course, we'll go ahead and preview Georgia and the rest of Alabama's schedule, which is, as is the case really for everybody in the SEC. It's going to be a monster. It's going to be a week-to-week league. So we got a lot on tap for you, plus a special guest that Wallace will tell you about in just a little bit. So let me bring everybody in. Good evening, guys. How is everybody?
Hey, good evening. How are we doing? Great. How are
Great.
you?
Good to have you. Let's dive right in. Wallace, just start with you.
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Hey, Andre. Alabama 38, Wisconsin 14. The defense only gave up one touchdown in the game. Ty Simpson was absolutely phenomenal again. Just put on a clinic, 24 of 29, 382, 4 touchdowns. Could have had another touchdown. Could have had another long completion, a couple of drops. But overall, really impressive performance. Wallace, what impressed you the most by Alabama's effort this past Saturday at Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium?
I like how the D line stepped up. The freshman, he was outstanding. I think he showed some potential. I see why they were so high on him coming out in recruiting. Um, LT Overton, he came out and did his thing. Those guys, they answered the bell, but at the end of the day, I still think we could have played better in the running game. Again, we got after the passer. I think that aspect was amazing, but I would definitely like to see them tighten up in the run game a little bit more, and create some more of those third down opportunities.
Yeah, 4 sacks for the defense after not recording a sack in the first 2 games. You mentioned Simmons, the freshman, London Simmons, with 3 tackles. Just a really good defensive performance. Dre, what did you see from that Alabama effort, and what impressed you the most?
Mainly just attention to detail in all phases of the game. They did some tremendous stuff, both on and off both run and pass blocking, and just making sure those guys were flying around and hitting on all of a sudden. I think Coach DeBoer did an awesome job in preparing those guys for Wisconsin. I think the offensive line did a tremendous job in blitz pickup, whether it be stunts in the run game or TEs, ETs in the passing game. I think those guys did a tremendous job this week.
Ronnie, we were in the press box, and I know we were watching that performance by Ty Simpson and those receivers. And Ryan Williams coming back off concussion, 6 targets, 5 catches, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Horton had a touchdown. Jeremy Bernard scored again. So it wasn't just one guy. And for Ty Simpson to be in his first year as a starter in these last 2 games, I mean, he's been close to flawless.
Yeah, I mean, he's been amazing. He's 41 of 46 in the last 2 games, and that doesn't include a couple of drops. His numbers could have been much better. 41 of 46, 618 yards. He's thrown 7 touchdowns last 2 games. He had 1 drop. Ryan dropped 1 in this game. And I think if Latsier Brooks makes that catch across in the middle, he may have taken it to the house if he gets to the sideline. So Ty's been fantastic. The thing I really like about Ty right now is he's playing with a lot of confidence, he's playing with a lot of command. He's in rhythm. I mean, he's stepping up. He's climbing up in the pocket. He's making throws. He's extremely accurate, and he's just playing with so much confidence. I think right now, I think he's carrying this team. And again, I understand it's a team effort, but I think his leadership and the things that he's doing from the quarterback position is really kind of taking this team right now to each step that they've taken since that Florida State game.
I want to ask all you guys, after you had your initial breakdown there, about the running game. And of course, when you have a quarterback playing out of his mind, you can say, you didn't really need the running game. But 22 carries for 72 yards, that's a little more than 3 yards a carry. Wallace, when you get into the Georgia game, when you're hosting Tennessee, when you're playing Oklahoma and LSU and these teams, won't you have to get a little more out of the running game to be successful on offense?
I 100%. And I also feel like, and don't get me wrong, I think Wisconsin was a good bounce back from the 73 points that we put up against ULM. But I also want to hold back the reins a little bit until we see some SEC play. I want to see that same intensity, with those guys with the same stars and the same stars across the board. And as far as the running game, like you said, Crow, he's been solid this year. I would like to think, I let these up to Andre, but I would like to think that we can create bigger holes for him on the backside. Our cutback lanes on the far as the offensive side of the thing, side of the ball, they aren't as clean as they were in the past. So I'm sure Drake can elaborate on that himself. But overall, I think our running game is It's where it can be, but I definitely think we could be better.
Dre?
Oh, most definitely. Running the ball makes everything a lot easier for the offense. It makes everything flow. You're able to get an extra defender down in the run game. Is able you to get more opportunities for one-on-ones in the back end. So just for those guys, they need to create more lanes. They should run off the ball a little bit more in the run game. And I think these guys can create some lanes by just working together as a unit. As an offensive lineman, you have to have 5 individuals playing together, all in sequence, while moving the defender, trying to disrupt it all. So if our other guys continue to work hard and continue to work on gelling, I think everything will work out in the long run.
Wallace, I want to ask you. We're coming up on the bye week this week, and I know that they're only going to have a few practices this week. But how important? What can you do during the bye week? Self scout, those types of things. But what are the things that you can do to get better, to improve as you start to move forward?
Honestly, and you guys may laugh at this or think it's a joke, but I would say just going out, hanging out, going out to dinner, going out to lunch, going bowling, just hanging out. Getting to know each other away from the stadium. To me, that was always the best part of the bond, was hanging out with my guys away from the stadium, going out, laughing, understanding what guys like, don't like, understanding where guys come from, what they're really dealing with back home. Once you understand a guy like that, it's easy to play for him. And so I think these guys just hang out, just love on each other, and just create that bond that the fans and the coaches, can't see or nor can understand. And that's the bond that lives forever, like kind of like you see me and Dre, how we're still together right now. I mean, Cincinnati was great, but this bond started and came from a University of Alabama.
Right.
Guys, the week-to-week nature of this league, and we're not even in the conference play yet, but I want to get all three of you to weigh in on, I think college football has changed a lot in the last few years with NIL, with the portal. We see what Vanderbilt's doing. And even though Vanderbilt beat up on South Carolina, we see South Carolina making a move, Missouri making a move. There are more teams now in the league that have an opportunity to be competitive. I mean, it's always been competitive, but usually there was about 5 or 6 teams that you felt like had a chance to win the league. Now, I mean, I think you can make a case maybe for 10 or 12 teams.
So regardless of what you did the week prior, whether you won or you lost, I mean, everybody, deserves respect, and you're going to really have to approach it, Wallace, like that. You had a great performance that Saturday before. That won't necessarily carry over. I mean, every week you got to get yourself ready to go, right? And it's the teams that can navigate that type of gauntlet that are going to be successful.
Well, and also to your contest, Gary, it's the teams that can navigate through maturity. Each week is a different team, and Drake can understand what I'm saying, and I hope my elaboration on it can clear it up a little bit. But each week it's a different team. I mean, true enough, we have the same number, same helmet, same name on the back of our jersey, but each, and I'm not going to say each athlete, but there's always life changing, altering moments that we have to deal with week in and week out. Maybe one of our teammates lost some family member, or someone maybe got hurt that we depended on to carry over the next week. So the next guy got to step up. So there's always different factors that make you, have to develop a new bond, a new team, a new goal, a new playbook. I mean, it's the team that can adjust. As you said, the team that can adjust on the fly and be mature about that. When you say, Dre?
Most definitely. I agree with you 100%. Those guys are able to adjust through adversity and be able to still keep some type of, I guess you would call it some type of schedule throughout the week. We are creatures of habits. If you get in your routine, you like do your routine, but you're able to still do your routine while going through those adverse situations. It also makes the team better, and also makes you better as an individual while working through it, while being around your guys, whatever it may be you may have going on during that time.
Rod, we've talked about this on TITV specifically. Let me go ahead and give the number in case people want to call in. Let me do this first. 205-339-4953, 205-339-4953. If you want to call in on Inside the Trenches with Wallace Gilberry and Andre Smith, by all means, give us a ring, 205-339-4953. But Alabama specifically with this schedule, this Georgia game is one game. And I'm not saying that if Alabama loses this game, they can't rebound. But let's be honest, how important this game is. If you win it, you're 3-1. You're 1-0 in the SEC, and you're riding a wave of momentum. You lose this game, you're 0-1 in the league, but you're 2-2 overall. Your margin for error, you're running uphill. I mean, this is a huge, it's just one, but this is a huge football game for Alabama.
It really is. And again, it goes back to the Florida State game. You know, you lost that game. It put you behind the 8 ball really early, but now you where you are. You know, they took the baby step, I think, obviously against ULM last week. And then this game against Wisconsin, they took another step. So now you go into Georgia, you got the off week, but you go into Georgia, you got an opportunity for, you know, if you win this game, you set yourself up really well. If you don't, your back's to the wall. But regardless of what happens in that game, you've got Vanderbilt the next week. You've got Missouri. You've got Tennessee. You've got South Carolina. You've got LSU. You've got Oklahoma. And you've got Auburn. Those are 6 ranked teams. This is a real gauntlet that Alabama's getting ready to face. So the key is right now, you take that one at a time. You've got to go into Georgia and try to pick off a win there. And after you do that, then everything's going to turn to Vanderbilt. Because let me tell you, last thing you want to do is win a big game and come back and lose to Vanderbilt for the 2nd year in a row. And they're really, what do you guys think, Andre?
I think that, you know, like you said, they can take this week to look in the mirror, you know, look at the mistakes they made or some things that tendencies they may have, whether it be on offense or defense, even in special teams, you know, look at themselves, evaluate themselves, be their own tough critic, you know, be your worst critic, you know, make sure really emphasize on your mistakes and make sure you're able to correct those things because, you know, it's a copycat league, like you said, whatever Florida State do, Georgia's probably going to do something similar to that on offense, whatever it may be. And then as far as the defense, you know, they may do some same things they did to the defense also. So it's going to be interesting to see how the guys come out and play coming up a bye week.
Hey, I want to ask you this, and you guys have played football a long time. You know what happens when you lose to a team a lot, right? I mean, they can get in your head. And that's what I want to ask you. Alabama's won 9 of the last 10 against Georgia. They've beaten Kirby. They're 6 out of 7 with Kirby. You know, Saban was 5-1. DeBoer beat him last year. So, I mean, how much does that play an impact? I mean, can they get in your head like that?
I'm gonna go back a step because I'm gonna have to disagree with you right here, Dre. This may be the first, I'm not gonna say the only, but definitely the first time we've disagreed on Gil and Dre in the trenches. I don't think we look in the mirror this week, Dre. I don't think we look in the mirror this week. I'm gonna be honest. I think we punched the man in the mirror in the face. This game, Georgia, to me, is old school SEC football. It's like you say, Rodney. We have a gauntlet of a schedule, but if we don't win this game, none of those other games matter. You know, because going into the rest of the schedule, 2-2, 0-1 in SEC, that's not a pretty set to be in with the fan base we have right now. This time last year, you give Nick Saban a bye week. You give him 2 weeks to digest your team. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. So, but we don't have that factor anymore. So I think we practiced hard this week. I think we set our pads, see where guys are, lick our wounds, and get ready to to carry this thing on to where we got to take it to. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you. But my main thing,
That's my opinion.
if we are able just, look at our mistakes, because we really make some big mistakes early on in the season. And if we can look at those mistakes, work even harder not to make the same mistakes, make sure, more attention to detail, make sure we keep ramping things up as far as building camaraderie, like you said earlier, doing things off the field, make sure you're building that rapport with your guys, because, if you know a guy, you play harder for him. If you didn't know him, not saying you're not gonna play hard for him, but just having that relationship makes your passion and make sure you're going to be in the right place at all time. Right, at all times. So I think it's gonna be good for the guys.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna say to look
add
in the
a little
mirror
factor to it.
to get better for sure, and also get healthy. You're dealing with some injuries, some guys. Had an opportunity to get healthy.
For sure.
All right, guys, let's jump out on our Inside the Trenches phone line at 205-339-4953.
Hello.
And Ken is with us. Go ahead, Ken. Ken is gone. All right. Well, all right. Ken, you on with us?
Hello.
Hey, Ken. Can you hear us? All right, Ken, you with us?
Yeah, I am now.
All right, good. We got you. You're inside the trenches with Wallace and Dre. What's going on, man?
Oh man, I was just going to talk about how the offensive line, Smitty, what do you think with Carroll coming in? Have you heard any talk about Proctor maybe moving into guard? He just don't seem like he has the foot speed or the athleticism on that left tackle. And Michael Carroll looks good. I don't know if he can play left tackle. I know he's been playing right tackle. And then you got Jaden Roberts coming back. It looks like he got a lot of snaps. And they look good Saturday. What do you think about that?
I think Saturday they most definitely took a step in the right direction. Making sure the guys did a tremendous job keeping the upright quarterback standing upright. That's how he was able to make those plays down the field, and even just executing and trick plays. Having this release screen where all the guys got in front of Ryan and he was able to score a touchdown. I think that they're taking steps in the right direction. I just think Proctor just needs to take more pride, and make sure he's being more aggressive at the point of contact. There's always football. Just because it's a pass pro doesn't mean it's passive. You have to be aggressive at times also. You also have to be smart. But I think these guys are, like I said, trending in the right direction. I think the freshman coming in, being very physical in the run game, he opened up a gaping hole to get us
Nice.
being backed up deep. So I think it's going to be some really good things for this group that they had out this past Saturday.
I got one more thing, guys. I know y'all
What you got?
break down on the Georgia game, and I kind of lost it, getting on the phone here, but what y'all had said. But, Georgia beat Tennessee Saturday. That was a good victory for them. But, Tennessee was without two starting DBs, and they had to play another redshirt freshman. And on the right side, they kept attacking that. Gunnar Stockton did. And, Bama's got an elite DB. I mean, I know our front seven's got a little work to do, our inside linebackers. And Wallace, I know you can speak to this, but I felt like the DBs, we ain't Tennessee. We're better than that. So I don't think he's going to have as much success. And I'll just hang up and listen to what you think, Wallace.
Absolutely. Great question. Thanks for calling in. We hope to hear from you next week as well. But add to what you're saying, if our front seven come out and play how we played with the confidence of last week, I think we'll put a little bit more pressure on Stockton. And like you say, we do have elite defensive backs. Again, Drake Kirkpatrick, that's my favorite guy. So Drake Kirkpatrick Jr., excuse me. So I do feel like we have an elite backfield that would give Georgia a better challenge than what Tennessee did. Again, we have to come out and perform. We have to come out and put that on the field. Don't you think, Dre?
Yeah, it's all about X's and O's. These guys have to, want to be in the right place at all times. Whatever DC calls up, make sure they execute it. They feel like they can make a play, but also do it within making the best, by making the best adjustment to help the team, not just to be selfish in their situation. So as long as guys are where they're supposed to be, I think everything will be working out tremendous.
All right. Great phone call there from Ken. 205-339-4953 is the number. If you want to get through to Inside the Trenches.
Yep,
All
thanks,
right.
Ken.
Gilberry and Andre Smith featuring
Call
Rodney
us
Wood
up.
and Gary Harris. We're going to take a time out, hear from some of our great sponsors, and we'll come back. We are streaming live at Tide109.com. We're over the air at Tide 109 FM and 1230 AM WTBC. And also, I guess where we can get Inside the Trenches, where you can find us on different podcast outlets. We're going to come back with more on the show after these words from our sponsors. Stay with us.
That's come and gone, but the best beach days are ahead of you on the Alabama Gulf Coast now through Thanksgiving. No one wants to work on vacation, so let iBeach Service do it for you. They'll set up your chairs, umbrellas, and canopies every morning and take them down every evening so you can soak up the calm, the sun, and the peace you deserve. For more information, you can call us at 251-504-0097 or visit us online at iBeachService.com.
There's the, yes, I'd like some popcorn, yes. There's the, yes, my team won, yes. And then there's the yes you never forget. When you open a tiny box that says Fincher and Osmond, it's only second in line behind I do. But it's a yes you'll feel down to your toes.
I'm Tom Osmond, your jeweler at Fincher Jewelry. Not so easy to find on McFarland, between Edgar's and Local Roots.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking
Take a
French.
picture of that for me.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for.
Yeah, but eat it.
Needle in the haystack.
No.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Hi, I'm Marty Lanes. When I come to Taco Casa, I always order the 2 and 2. 2 Sanchos, 2 enchiladas.
And I'm Wilkin Forby. And when I come to Taco Casa, I always order the Fantastic Four. 4 Sanchos, 4 enchiladas, 4 tacos, and 4 burritos.
Taco Casa is always made with the finest ingredients and made fresh when you order. So whatever the size of your appetite,
There's always something delicious waiting for you here at Taco Casa.
Taco Casa under the biggest cactus in town.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The best station in the state, breaking down Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Football is back. Join former Alabama standouts Wallace Gilberry and Andre Smith alongside Tider insiders Rodney Orr and Gary Harris every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. Central as Wallace and Andre take you inside their time in the Crimson and White and in the NFL. Come along as they give you an inside look into the Crimson Tide and more. Catch us Monday from 7 to 8 Central on Tide100.9.com and TiderInsider.com and all your social media platforms for Inside the Trenches.
See, I'm from Big Bama. You're not the little one. We got smoke for anybody.
All right, welcome back to Inside the Trenches, starring Wallace Gilberry and Andre Smith with Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com and me, Gary Harris. And we are talking Bama football in depth with the two former Crimson Tide and NFL greats. And we're going to go back to our Inside the Trenches phone line at 205-339-4953 and welcome in Jimmy to the program. Good evening, Jimmy.
What's up, Jimmy?
Hey, Gary.
What's up, Jimmy? How you doing? Roll Tide.
Get some insights from Wallace and Andre regarding the last two games, because I think that opener in Tallahassee was kind of a shocker from everybody's perspective. And, I think people tend to realize or not realize this is a long season. And I just wanted to get their ideas on when you have such a disappointing performance like that, how do you try to kind of circle the wagons? And in my mind, the last two games, I was just thinking that I didn't really judge the opponent that much. I was more concerned about the energy level and the focus and all those other aspects that really make good teams really good on a week-by-week basis. And I thought those parts of the performance of this team has been totally different. They've just been really energetic. They seem really anxious to play. And of course, we all know how much better the offensive line play was on Saturday. And when Ty has time to throw the ball, he's really proven, man, he's got a really high ceiling.
Yeah, thanks for calling, Jimmy. I guess I'll kind of break it down in kind of three different phases. Your question, I think it was a three-phase question. To speak on your question from last week, last two games, I definitely like the progress. I definitely didn't feel like we came out with the right energy FSU week. I definitely felt like the step forward from ULM was the step that we wanted to see. Uh, then the step from Wisconsin, which was a win, and they were consistent throughout the year, throughout the day. That's what you want to see. So I like the temperament where our team is at. I like that part of it. The physicality, that factor, I think it could be better. Mental toughness, I think that aspect can be better. But again, we're looking at week three, heading into week four, 3-2, going into one of the, like again one of the biggest SEC rivals to date. Between those two guys, Bama, Shula, Saban and Kirby Smart era. The fans like to see that keep going. I think they would like that rival to stay where it is, and that's going to be uh, where Alabama is today. Coming out, doing the right things, being who they are, and not who we want them to be. Because again, this is not the team of the past. So I think we have to let these guys create their own identity. Is the point that I'm making. I'll let you have it, Dre.
I most
Yeah,
definitely agree. I feel like there was a big jump from week one to week two. There's only one way you can go. You can get better, you can get worse. And those guys took the smack in the mouth and they came out and got better the next week. And we're seeing that trajectory to continue to go north or go up, so to speak. It's because they're, like you said, their attention to detail has been much better than it's been than it was in week one. And even in week two, those guys, like I said, out front, the offensive line, they did an outstanding job keeping tabs, standing up right. That's how he was able to have a big day for the offense and able to pick guys, down the field, screens, whatever it may be. Because those guys were, even when they blitzed, those guys were all on one accord, making sure they were in the right place, picking up the right guy, had the right assignment, had it in the right place. It was just an overall great game in all phases of the game of football. If that's what you want to see. You don't want to see what you saw the first week, of course, but just to see those guys, like I said, trending in the right direction. And like Wallace said, they're gonna be their own identity. Each and every team has its own identity in itself. And these guys are evolving in themselves, and the team's just gonna, I hope, continue to get better and better each week. And hopefully, this upcoming weekend, when they play, not this upcoming weekend, but the next, they play against Georgia, they put a good show out on the field.
Jimmy, you still with us?
yeah, sure am.
Did that? Yeah, go ahead.
No. Well, with this game coming up in Athens, it's a really interesting matchup because Georgia themselves has lost quite a few players, and Gunnar Stockton, brand new quarterback, and in the first couple of games, their offense was pretty vanilla for the most part, and we saw against Tennessee that. Man, he was ready for the moment because when Tennessee jumped out on them, it reminded me like 3 years ago of the Alabama game in Knoxville against Tennessee when they jumped out about 28-10. You really had trouble stopping them, and then Bama was able to stop the bleeding, and then it went right down to the end. But after Tennessee scored really quickly, I thought it was huge for Stockton to hit that big explosion play, about a 50-yard gainer, and a play like that early in the game when you're on the road. It seemed to give him a lot of confidence, and then from that point on, it was really kind of a slugfest between a couple of elite teams, and then. For a big part of the game, I thought Georgia did a really good job pounding and grounding, running the ball against Tennessee. And it looked like when they were in a position to really take control of the game, Tennessee scored a couple of touchdowns with, that 6'5" receiver where, you throw the ball up deep in a jump ball situation. And it seemed like to me it's really tough for short secondary players to deal with that guy. And from a defensive standpoint, what do you do against somebody like that that's really skilled and is great at coming down with long passes like that? Because Tennessee had at least 2 long scores off plays like that, and then the importance of Bama being able to really stiffen up against the Georgia running game, which was successful for a big portion of the game against Tennessee.
And I alluded to that earlier in the show, Jimmy. I feel like our running game, we have to be more violent at the point of attack, just point blank. Period. We have to our separation can be a lot better and just be more violent at the point of contact. I want to see guys breaking guys back when we get into that opposite gap, and I haven't seen enough of that. And hopefully, with the return of the big guy, we feel like he brings that nastiness that we're missing. So hopefully we plug him back in and we can get back to that nasty Alabama defensive football that we've been known to play in the past.
Jimmy, thank you so much. Great insight there. We've got another caller on the line, Wallace and Dre, and I think you guys are familiar with this guy. Longtime Alabama Sports Information Department member, and now does great work on ESPN and Fox broadcast with stats and works at Shelton State. Barry Allen is calling in to Inside the Trenches. Hey, Barry.
Blast from the past, right?
Exactly.
Hey, how you doing, big guy?
What's up, Barry? How are you?
They're all
Roll
going,
Tide,
oh my
Barry.
God, they're going to have us doing an interview tonight. Really work. You there?
Yeah, we're with you, Barry.
How
we're
are
with
you
you.
guys?
And we're
I'm
blessed,
doing
man. We're
great,
blessed.
man. Blessed, yeah, man.
Yeah,
Good.
thanks for calling in tonight.
Good.
How you doing, Barry? How you doing today? What
I'm
you tell us
good.
what you got going on tonight? What do you have going on, Barry? Catch us up to
Well,
speed.
Actually, I got one side of the screen on Monday Night Raw and the other side on the D'Amico's game with the Texans. So I'm in my usual Monday night mode here, wrestling and
Oh
football.
man,
How are the
living the life,
Live it
Barry.
up. Live
Living
it
the
up.
life.
They were
Living it
behind
up,
a minute
Barry.
ago.
Okay.
D'Amico was behind a minute ago. They're in a commercial. And I can't remember what the score was because I was watching.
Speaking of D'Amico, Barry, I tell everybody always asks me, who was the best defensive guy you ever played with? And don't get me wrong, Mike Vrabel was a smart-minded guy. I see why he's a head coach. I get it. But D'Amico Ryans was a cut above. The guy knew the play before they came out of the huddle. Never seen nothing like it.
He really did. I mean, you knew he was going to be a head coach at some point. I mean,
I knew it.
He had
I
so
knew
many
it, Barry.
players on defense at San Francisco, and you just knew one day he was going to be a head coach and he was going to be very successful. He's now he's got Will Anderson and
Absolutely.
Ohio State. But they made their drafts, they made their picks, and he's just done a tremendous job. I'm really proud of him. I keep always going back to how good he was every year, but especially his freshman year. And I remember Coach Kynes always saying he's just a straight off the street freshman. And he said, you don't have to. He just knows where the ball is going. He said, you can't teach that. And he said he's always around the ball. You just can't teach that. So
And I'm gonna tell you a funny story about that, Barry. So my red shirt freshman year, I'm starting at defensive end, and D'Amico, if he don't trust you, he don't want you on the field. Like he was one of those guys. He didn't want nobody on the field he didn't trust, and that's one thing I loved about D'Amico. But we had made this bond, and he would literally, if he patted me on my right side of my right side, he was telling me that he saw something pre-snap, and I would D'Amico Ryan is the reason I was a redshirt All-American, All-SEC. He put me all those tackle for losses. He would send me inside, and Coach Kynes, he would know. He would know that D'Amico did it, and I would always say, Coach, I had a hunch, but Coach Kynes had so much respect for D'Amico that he would let D'Amico call inside his defense. I never seen nothing like it until I got to the NFL.
Just a different breed. I mean, cut above everybody
Yeah,
else.
absolutely.
So good, and both of you guys were really outstanding players, tremendous careers at Alabama.
Thank
and
you.
NFL.
Thank you.
We've been so blessed with so many good people over the years, coaches and players. It's just it's kind of
Yes,
fun
we
to
have.
hear y'all on the radio and just see where everybody's going.
So Barry, you got to give it to me, Barry. Barry, you got to give it to me. Who's your favorite Alabama player of all time? I want to hear it.
Oh goodness. Man, that's unfair because I mean,
I hate to
tried
put you on the spot, but
really-
I know. I'm sorry,
if you go,
but
if you gonna
you're not
put
gonna hurt me and Dre feelings.
well, if you're gonna put me on the spot, because I'm gonna probably give you one that you don't even know who he is, and Gary and Rodney will remember him. But if you had to give me one
I was
guy,
just finna say we got about 100 years. We got about 100 years of experience, so I'm sure Gary Rodney
I
probably
was
know
a
him.
kid when he played
I know,
here.
right?
But Johnny Davis might be my all-time favorite
Johnny
Alabama
the
football player.
Bull.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I
He
knew
ran.
right.
Johnny the Bull. Johnny the Bull. Johnny the I know. I'm familiar. I'm
And
familiar.
he was a bull.
He had a 36-yard touchdown run against
Go ahead, Barry. I'm
LSU
sorry.
one year with 11 LSU defenders being drugged by him into the end zone.
Hey, he was
And then
11
Alabama
guy,
goes to the Super
dog.
Bowl that year. He
Some of the
played
horse.
Jay Alabama on the piano.
Yeah, Pennell playing fullback. Johnny the Bull.
And he was a fullback. But he after going into the Sugar Bowl that year, ABC did a special, and he played Yay Alabama on the piano. And just a couple of years ago, he was the legend for the Camellia Bowl, now the Salute to Veterans Bowl that I helped work for in Montgomery, and he was our legend. And he came back, and there was a piano in the area, and I said, "Hey, you used to play the piano?" He said, "Still do." And he played Yay Alabama and How Great Thou Art on the piano that day, and it was fantastic.
Barry, you know what they used to say about him when he
Wow.
get
Oh wow.
secondary?
Wow.
When he'd get loose in the secondary, they said he looked like a piano running through there.
Well, he was phenomenal. I believe he's the only player in Alabama history, and he may be the only player in SEC history. He never had a negative run.
Never lost a yard.
One time.
Well, against Vanderbilt.
Oh, one. Okay.
Yeah.
One time.
Wow.
He lost
That's
a yard
crazy.
against Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
But
that's impressive.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
there's
impressive.
a lot of great players. I mean, you two among them. There's a lot of great players we've had here. And, you know, I've had a great fortune of working with all of them, and just having a good run at it. And it was really fun. It's really good to see the success that all of our former players have had. And then when they get out of the NFL, they all get into society and the business and become daddies, and some of them's granddaddies now. And it's really fun to see. It's fun to see how that it all just kind of, you know, works around each other and it all comes back full circle. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, sir.
Barry, it's good hearing from you.
Absolutely.
Miss
Absolutely,
those days.
Barry. Well, Barry, man, we appreciate you calling in. Do you got any questions for us tonight?
Yeah, I miss those days over at Bryant Hall too, and I miss being out on the practice field. You know, you'd always say, you know, when Coach Stallings was there, you know, everybody could watch practice. You could come from the start and stay till the very end, and they always go, "You're the only coach that hardly ever let us do that. Why do you do that?" And he said, "Well, from where you stand, if you can tell me what we're doing," he said, "tomorrow you'll be a coach." He said, "Because I don't think you can tell me what I'm doing where you're standing." I told him one day, I said, "I don't know what you're doing. I'm standing out here with you. I have no idea what you're doing."
That's funny.
It's a lot of fun. It's really, really good. I'm still in Tuscaloosa. I'm at Shelton State now. I actually start with a position there October the 1st. Doing what I'm doing now, but I will. And I'm going to be doing the live stream for all of their events. We've added women's flag football. We had our first game yesterday. Won the first game in program history. We're really good in men's basketball. We're really good in baseball and all. So I'm there, and I still go to Alabama baseball games. I don't go to the football games or basketball games anymore, but I still go to the baseball games. And, you know, I'm always watching on TV. The games that they play on TV, and all the NFL games with all the Alabama guys in it. With 4 guys that started at quarterback yesterday in the National Football League. So
right. That's
you know, when we go from Richard Todd to Rodney, we went from Richard Todd to AJ McCarron before we had somebody play quarterback in the NFL, and now we got 4 starters, and
it's
you know,
amazing.
Jalen's close.
And the Super Bowl champ.
You know, Max started for the Niners yesterday and had a really good game. Tua had a good game. They didn't win.
Bryce
had a real good game.
Bryce, he's in a tough situation though. It's such a tough situation, and then Jalen, you know, led to Philly.
Yeah,
the Eagles passed Kansas City yesterday, and I like the exchange. I like the exchange with City defensive lineman.
Yeah,
from Mississippi State.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Chris Jones.
Yeah, Chris Jones. Yeah. Well, Barry, man, good to check in. You got a question for Dre or Wallace before you go, or just
just tell me y'all tell me what you think about Coach DeBoer. We've had a lot of great coaches here. I think he is a very good coach. I liked his record when he came here, and just what do y'all think about him? You met him. What do y'all think about him?
Family guy. Whenever you see him, he has a smile on his face. When he wears his black shirt, he's unbeatable. That's why I got my black shirt on today. I'm in my DeBoer outfit today. So as long as he got that black shirt on, guys, I think he has the mindset that to take Bama to where we have to be. And I think those guys understand his personality to be led by him. So I'm gonna sit back and grab some popcorn when it's time to eat.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with Wallace. I think Coach DeBoer is doing some awesome things down in Tuscaloosa. I think, like you said, he's a really good coach. And, he just comes with a different way of doing things, and I think he's getting guys to buy in to what he's doing. I think we're starting to see those things come to fruition on the field. He's a great family guy, like Wallace said earlier, and those guys are really loving what they're doing for him. Going out there executing for him at a high level these past 2 weeks. And like I said, I hope the trajectory just continues to go higher and higher.
Very great to hear from you.
Thanks for all tonight too, Big Bear.
You bet. I'm glad to talk to you guys. Appreciate all you did for us. Thank you.
All right, great
Thank
call,
you,
Barry.
Absolutely.
Good call from Jimmy. Good call from Ken. So if you want to join the program, you see these guys, man, they will go back and forth with you. They'll allow you, unlike some shows where callers get in, they get 15 seconds, they're getting cut off. Dre and Gilberry want your input. Call 205-339-4953. 205-339-4953. Let's go ahead and take one of our breaks so we hear from some of our great sponsors, and we're going to come back with more of Inside the Trenches, and we'll do that right after this.
Labor Day has come and gone, but the best beach days are ahead of you on the Alabama Gulf Coast now through Thanksgiving. No one wants to work on vacation, so let iBeach Service do it for you. They'll set up your chairs, umbrellas, and canopies every morning and take them down every evening so you can soak up the calm, the sun, and the peace you deserve. For more information, you can call us at 251-504-0097 or visit us online at ibeachservice.com.
There is no price tag on love. It's not in your bank account or in your retirement fund, and the price tag isn't the point when you shop at Fincher and Osmond. The point is, you love her. And if your budget is $200 or $20,000, it's here at Fincher and Osmond, and she'll love it.
I'm Tom Osmond, your jeweler at Fincher & Osmond Jewelers. Not so easy to find on McFarland, between Edgar's and Local Roots.
95.3 The Bear and Sports Radio Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC are partnering with Baumhauer's Victory Grill this season to put you in the best seats in the house at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Sign up online at 953thebear.com. on the app or the Tide 100.9 app. Each week, we'll pick a winner for a pair of tickets to an Alabama home football game. Baumhauer's Victory Grill, with 2 locations in Tuscaloosa, Harper Lee Drive, and Baumhauer South on Courtney Drive. Let Baumhauer's Victory Grill put you in the best seats in the house. Oh my God! With 95.3 The Fair and Sports Radio Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
Get your football weekend started early with Fridays at the Free. I'm Gary Harris, and I'll broadcast my show live from Innisfree Irish Pub every Alabama game weekend from 9 to 11 a.m. on Friday mornings, so we'll get the jump on everybody else, and you'll be ready to start the weekend as soon as Innisfree opens at 11 a.m. With 2 bars, TVs everywhere, and outdoor seating as well, there's only one Innisfree Irish Pub, often imitated but never duplicated. Fridays at the Free with me, Gary Harris, this fall at Innisfree Irish Pub, 1925 University Boulevard in Tuscaloosa.
In Alabama, sacks are a way of life. On the field, the Tide delivers them. Off the field, Cousackley's does too. Only ours come with house-made sauces. Born and raised right here in Alabama, we're a proud partner of the Crimson Tide. Cousackley's Chicken Fingers, the only sack you can cheer for and eat. Can't fake the foo.
Football is back. Join former Alabama standouts Wallace Gilberry and Andre Smith alongside Tiger insiders Rodney Orr and Gary Harris every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. Central as Wallace and Andre take you inside their time in the Crimson and White and in the NFL. Come along as they give you an inside look into the Crimson Tide and more. Catch us Monday from 7 to 8 Central on Tide100.9.com and TiderInsider.com and all your social media platforms for Inside the Trenches.
See, I'm from Big Bama, you're not the little one. We got smoke for anybody that wants some. Yeah, we don't do no yapping, and we don't do no...
Welcome back to Inside the Trenches here on Tide 100.9 FM at 1230 AM WTBC, starring Wallace Gilberry and Andre Smith with Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com, and I'm just simply your moderator, Gary Harris. Keeping all these guys engaged. Great phone calls tonight. We love the interaction. Let me bring Wallace and back in. And I want to ask you, Wallace, you mentioned the black shirt for Coach DeBoer. He's gone back to the black. And
I like it.
I like it. I mean, you guys
where your black shirt at, bro?
There's a lot of demands on you.
Man, I keep it simple, man. Great.
Your own man as the coach here and not worry about what the fans expect from you, or everything from what you wear to how you talk to the media. You know, how important it is to keep your own identity and be who you are at a place like Alabama, which is, Wallace and Drake, it can eat you up. Even a coach can get in over his head here if he doesn't watch it.
Absolutely, man. I mean, our fan. I mean, just let me break it. Let me back it back a little bit.
Okay.
Fans on every level have a sense of entitlement. Rather it's buying a ticket to the game, whether it's buying merch to support the team, they feel like that dollar is connected to that team. So their opinion, their say so, it matters. So first and foremost, that has to be understood. Alabama, you have to magnify that by decimal 5 or 10, however you want to put it. For all the math geeks out there, our fans are a little bit more crazy about it. They take it to heart, they take it to sleep. It evolves they bring it to work. They take it to their family functions. Like Alabama football lives and breathes and lives rent free in a lot of people's heads. So, and he has to understand that. And I think he's grown. And again, year 2 is the biggest leap, and this is his year 2. So I think he understands that. And I mean, whatever the man's comfortable in, he's comfortable. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but again, that mindset, those black Air Force Ones, like people always have that black Air Force One mindset, and so that's what I related to. Let's go out, let's get dirty, let's get the job done by any means necessary. So I'm liking it. I'm supporting it. I'm with it.
Yeah, Dre, I am too. I let me ask you this, Dre. Kalen DeBoer, you said you and Wallace both said he's a family man, he's a good guy, but I think I've noticed a little more edge since that game in Tallahassee, and not in a bad way. I'm not saying he's been great.
They was trying to get rid of the guy, Gary. The one lady wanted to give up her
He
whole
was on the
lottery
hot
ticket.
seat.
I mean,
have y'all noticed that? A little more tougher exterior, maybe a little more edge to him. Is that something you picked up on?
Oh yeah, he's been most definitely. His attention to detail, I think, has been like, you can see the guys are really buying in. So that means he's doing some great things for those guys. They're listening, they're really liking what they're hearing, and it's we're starting to see everything come to fruition on the field.
And not only that, to kind of piggyback on what my boy Dre's saying, for a team, and Dre understands exactly what I'm saying. A lot of coaches, they want so much control and so much power that they wouldn't allow a players only meeting, for them to sit back and have that man talk that they need to have with each other. So inside the building, I mean, it's easy to have it in the dorm rooms, but that setting is it's not the same setting. So to have that setting and a lot of those guys to have that voice also. I mean, I wasn't there. I didn't get anything out of the meeting. I don't know what was said, but I do see a big difference in the team as a unity, holding each other accountable. As far as the week 1.
They said what had to be said, for sure. They said what had to be said, to light a fire under themselves as a team, all to pay for the same cause, pay for the right reason. I think that we're seeing it all coming together at the right time.
Rodney, you know what I'm talking about. We've talked about it. Some coaches, they can be good football coaches, but they just can't handle all that goes with being the coach at Alabama. I think DeBoer, so far this season, with what happened against Florida State, I think he's passed the test. I mean, I know it's just 2 games, but the way this program has responded, the way he's responded, I think he's come across as in charge, comfortable in his own skin, and as a guy that can handle the scrutiny here.
Well, listen, I think obviously we know their backs they were to the wall after the Florida State game. They played, you know, they did not play very well in any phase of the game. We know that. They didn't play with emotion. They didn't play with passion. And I think it surprised a lot of people, especially coming off the great August camp that they had. There was a lot of, you know, positive things coming out of the building. They thought they were going to play really, really well, and they fell flat in the game. That happens sometimes. But the way they rebounded, they took that step against ULM. They came back the next week against Wisconsin last week. They took another step, as we've talked about. And I think that goes back to the coach. Kalen DeBoer is a really, really good coach. There's no doubt about that. His track record is Wallace alluded to earlier, and even Barry in his call alluded to it. His track record tells he's a good football coach. Now, it is a tough job here. It's a different kind of fit, you know. So and I think you got to be patient. And what I mean by that is, you know, the guy had a lot to learn about this place. And I think every day has been a learning experience, and you know how you do things, and you do have to do them differently in different places. So, but I think when you look at this team, I really like where they are right now. They have an opportunity to go into Athens. And we said this when they lost to Florida State, we said, take a baby step against ULM, come back against Wisconsin, take another step. And then all of a sudden you go to Georgia and let's see what happens. You win that game. The narrative is totally different.
Wallace, what's the vibe? You and Dre obviously talk and friends, but you talk with a lot of the other players too. What's the vibe from the former players on this staff and the potential that they have here at Alabama? Is it positive?
We like what we see. I can't speak for Dre and his side of the spectrum, but as far as me and Dre and the guys that I conversate with, we like what we see. I mean, let's be honest. It's hard to win in the SEC. And if you told me sitting at week 4, you don't have a front runner in SEC, I would think you would be crazy. But you tell me, who's the front runner? What team has set themselves apart to say, okay, those guys are going to the SEC championship? I don't have one right now. And I think this game here against Georgia next week is going to be a good testament to that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that just goes back to what we always said about the talent being so evenly distributed across the whole entire SEC. We have talent from top to bottom. You know, anybody can win on any given Saturday. So, like you said, just come back to those guys. You know, we like what we see, both with those guys on the offense and defense and in special teams. Guys have been competing their ass off, working really hard, making sure their guys not making plays. And like we said, we're starting to see everything come together.
Yeah, I think we are too. Boy, 2 weeks, it's less than 2 weeks, 12 days from now. We're going to find out exactly where they're at. We're going
to find out where they are.
Wallace, and I know we're going to break down this game against Georgia in depth next week, but Jimmy called in about that Tennessee game. I watched a lot of that game after the Alabama game, and when I got home, I thought Tennessee should have won the football game. But what I kept thinking is, in this
100%.
case, you got to play 60 to beat Georgia. I mean, you got to play 60 minutes, sometimes more. Even last year, Alabama up 30-6, barely won that football game.
Right.
Kirby,
they're gonna fight.
Kirby kind of reminds me of those when you're walking through Times Central, New York, and you see those old guys out there waiting on someone to play chess with them. That's the era he comes from, and chess is a long drawn out game. And if you don't play, like you say, 60 minutes, it only takes one play, and Georgia has you, and that's what it takes to beat a guy like Coach Saban and Coach Smart. You have to play 60 minutes with those guys.
Yeah, the mental toughness is unbelievable. I mean, when you look down the stretch of that Tennessee last week, Georgia made every play they had to make. They made a 4th and 6. They converted a touchdown. They have to get the 2-point conversion. They get it. So every key play Georgia made, that's mental toughness. Mm-hmm. You said, I thought Tennessee outplayed them for a good portion of the game, but at the same time, Georgia fought their way back in the game. They took control of it, went back and forth for a little bit. And when it got down to the mental toughness, Georgia had it.
Yeah. You know what I saw, Rodney? At the fourth quarter, when it got down to the wire, Tennessee thought they were going to win. Georgia knew they were going to win. Exactly. And that was the difference. Yeah. That was the difference.
And you know what? That's what I'm really interested in this game coming up here in 12 days, like Gary said, is – Alabama's got to go in with the right mental toughness, the right mindset. If adversity strikes, now I'll say this, Kalen DeBoer on the road, except for LSU last year, His teams have not responded well to adversity. This is going to be an opportunity now because there's going to be some adversity in this game. I think Alabama will respond well to adversity at Georgia. Okay, but that is going to be something that we really have to watch and see. How does this team respond, when adversity strikes?
And you take Bernard's play away from this season, and Ryan Williams is going to be Ryan Williams, no matter who he is. But again, it's just like the SEC. I don't see an offensive defensive player on our roster that's setting themselves apart from anyone. Would you say, Dre? I mean, I like what Kirkpatrick Jr. is doing in the backfield, but again, I don't see a particular player like a Will Anderson, like the guys in the past that that's the headhunter, that's the guy right there that's going to get the play and win. Right, 100%. I don't have that guy.
Yeah.
No, I would say offensively right now. Now you mentioned defense. I'd say right now, obviously Ty Simpson's, he's kind of they're riding on his arm and
on fire right now.
And they've got he's on fire, and they've got the wide receivers. Those guys, a lot of weapons. You protect him. Again, I think the running game hopefully will come around a little bit. But defensively, I'm with you, Wallace, right now. I mean, I don't see a guy out there that you say is is one of those guys that we've seen in the past, where it's Rolando McClain or C.J. Mosley or Jonathan.
Who's my bell cow? Who is my bell cow?
Patrick, somebody like that.
Well, we are winding it down, and next week, folks, I'm going to ask Wallace and Dre. Remember, they played when Nick Saban was the head coach and Kirby Smart was on staff here, and I'm going to ask them next week if they knew, even early in his coaching career, if Kirby Smart was going to be the guy that's probably the closest that we've seen to Saban of anybody that's coached for Nick Saban. We'll get into that next week. Wallace, I want to leave this last minute or so with you because I know you got a lot going on with the podcast and a lot of plans. Anything that you want to fill our listeners and viewers in on as far as special things that you've got coming up or things that are going on? Yeah.
Absolutely. We have a giveaway right now that we're doing with Beach Bar Properties. We haven't officially announced how we're going to give it away yet, but we're going to give away a 3-stay condo night here in Orange Beach. Compliments of Beach Bar Properties and Inside the Trenches. We're going to get one of our lucky viewers a chance to come down here on the Gulf Coast and just relax with his family. May even hang out with me and Dre. Who knows? But we're definitely we have a ticket giveaway, right? We have a pair of tickets we're giving away for the LSU game.
Oh, wow.
I want you guys to come hang out. So we got some cool stuff. Once we build this thing up, guys, and it's a work in progress. It's just like the season, each week we're getting better, understanding each other. I know in the studio is way much better than out the studio, but anytime I get to talk football with you guys and see my guy Dre, it's a blessing. So thank you guys for this opportunity again. I appreciate you guys. And you fans, you guys are what drives this. If not, we're just sitting here talking to ourselves, and we can do that, all day, every day. But you guys are what drives this. So thanks for calling in and being a part of this because it's ours.
Yeah, awesome interaction tonight. And again, 205-339-4953. We continue to grow this podcast Inside the Trenches, and I know that it's going to get bigger and better. All right, for Wallace Gilberry, Andre Smith, and Rodney Orr, I'm Gary Harris. Thanks for tuning in to Inside the Trenches. We do it every Monday night at 7 p.m., so we can't wait to talk to you and see you again next week. Good night, everybody.
Gone, but the best beach days are ahead of you on the Alabama Gulf Coast.